I recently created a video about how fear stops us from hearing God. And I asked you all, hey, what are the fears that are coming up for you? And a number of you replied that you've tried so many times to hear God that you've come to the belief and the fear that maybe you just can't do it, that there's something inherently wrong with you, and you're worried that you can't hear God. Other people can hear God, but not you. And so I want to address this fear head on and just share my thoughts, my experience, and some things that I've just been studying and researching that I think can really help you. And there's one question in particular that I think may uncover most of the problems that you're experiencing. Because really, this is not a question of why can't I hear God? This is a question of why am I protecting myself in this way? Why have I learned to protect myself by choosing to believe I'm not capable of hearing? Because the scriptures tell us that my sheep hear my voice. So you likely hear those same scriptures and think, yeah, that's for everybody else, not for me. There's something wrong with me because every time I try, no matter what method I apply, nothing seems to work. Now, I recently did a call within the Receive Academy, this community that I have. It's tailored towards helping you in your specific problems. I recognize that I'm limited in being able to help you to uncover your very specific challenge through YouTube. So that's why I created a community. That's why I created a space where you can talk to me personally or even in a group setting and receive direction. So I did this call. It's called the I Can't Hear God call. And I have it every single month. You can come and join. Just join the community. I'll put a link in the description and you can come join this call. I helped 3 people in their experience. And one of them really did believe this thought that there's something wrong with me. And as we talked, one thing that just stood out was that he has this expectation, this yearning to be able to have a conversational relationship with the Lord. And so because he yearns for this certain type of experience and has this expectation that this is exactly how God should show up, and if it doesn't meet that rule, if he doesn't experience the audible voice or just like the stream of thoughts from God, then it's not enough. It's not true. It's not what he really wants. And so he dismisses all the other ways in which God speaks to him. And so that might be your problem, but I think that there's something deeper going on here. And to understand these challenges, it really is helpful to go back to our childhood because all of our fears originate there. We don't come out of the womb really afraid of anything besides loud noises and falling. And so every other fear is learned. Now, the reason why many psychologists and even inner healing groups will go back to the childhood is because we're just reception machines as kids. We just experience life and we learn things. That is the foundation of our learning. And so the question that I have for you, for those of you that feel you're in this boat of, I don't think God speaks to me, I'm just afraid that there's something wrong with me, is I want you to reflect on your childhood. I want you to reflect on when you spoke to your parents, did they respond? Or did you find yourself often asking questions, getting neglected? Maybe your parents were distracted with many other things. Maybe your parents shamed you when you did speak up. And so the moment you ask a question is the moment that they say, why are you asking a question? You idiot, it's like, stop asking questions. Stop saying what you're saying. Maybe as you expressed your emotions or expressed what you felt was guidance or just your real life experience, you were shut down. Don't talk to me about that. Don't feel. Rub some dirt in it. You were just dismissed from your experience. Now, the reason why this relates is because what we experience in our childhood oftentimes gets painted onto God. In other words, if I showed up in conversation to my parents and often got silence in return, I learned as a kid to stop talking to my parents. I learned that it's pointless to speak to my parents because I don't get a response. Or it's more safe to not express the truth of my life experience to my parents because I would be ashamed if I were to tell the truth. This was my experience. It's like I hid and did not speak to my parents the truth. And I had one parent that just didn't ever really talk about anything deep or didn't talk about feelings. And the other parent, I just knew that if I went to them, I would get shame in return. And it's not, I don't blame them for that. I thought they were amazing parents. That was just my experience as a child and the fear that I held on to. So depending on your life experience, you might have had these moments where you went to a parent that you wanted a response from and you got nothing. And because as a child, the parent must be seen as right and even perfect, like they can't do wrong, they're always right. What we develop is this idea that if they must be right and can only be right, then the only logical conclusion that my brain can wrap its head around is that I must be wrong. And not just I must be wrong, I am wrong. I am flawed. The reason why my parents don't speak to me is because I am a problem. So it becomes an identity that we hold on to. And then as your heart is yearning for connection and you're reaching out to God, you're asking questions. You're applying yourself to the different techniques. You are looking on YouTube for all the ways and means to be able to connect with God, and you try them out and it doesn't work. And then you wonder, why is this not working? I'm doing all the quote unquote right things. And it's just like doing all the right things for your parent, but still not receiving any love or connection. It's just a repeated pattern. But the problem is now it just becomes this idea that, okay, I try something new, I fail at it, or it doesn't produce the result that I want. And because it doesn't produce the full result of what I want, then there must be something wrong with me. Now, the question that I believe will help you most is, as you reflect on your childhood, is to ask yourself, what did I decide about myself the first time I was unheard? What did I decide about myself the first time I got silence from my parents, from those that I desired love from? Now, that question might bring up, I'm not worth hearing. I'm not worth being spoken to. I'm not good enough to get a response. My parents don't care about me. They respond to my siblings, but not to me. Whatever your answer to that question is the truth that you bring to God. You see, much of the problems that people face when connecting with God is that they don't know that they're operating in a lie. They don't truly confess how they feel to God, maybe because of some other fears. But ultimately, the simplest way that you can approach God is with the truth, is by saying, Lord, as I've reflected upon my childhood, I have realized that I've come into the belief that my parents didn't care about me. They didn't listen to me. They didn't speak to me when I asked questions, when I went to them. They shamed me. They neglected me. And Lord, I feel like you don't care about me, that you've neglected me, that you won't speak to me because there's something wrong with me. And I'm afraid to even approach you right now because I am afraid that you won't speak. And I'm afraid that means that I am flawed in some way, that I'm the child that you don't care about. That doesn't matter. Now, if any of that rang true and you didn't just pray that with me, go back and pray those exact words. Just admit the truth. Whatever is the truth for you, alter it the way that you need it. Tell God that. And then imagine that He's right there, listening to all of it. Imagine Jesus Christ, the one who suffered and died on the cross for you and for me, who understands exactly how you feel. Imagine whatever image of Jesus you have. Imagine the most loving person hearing that truthful plea. Maybe it was a grandparent, maybe it's a best friend, someone that represents unconditional love to you. If you were to just lay that out in front of them, the truth of how you really feel and what you've learned, what would the response be? That if you looked at love in the face, would love tell you anything but, I love you? And I think that you are amazing. And I want to talk to you all the time. And I'm here for you. I've always been here. And I'm sorry that you went through that childhood. I'm sorry that's how you feel about me. I forgive you for anything that you've done that you feel disqualifies you from hearing my voice. I forgive you. Now, your only job right now is to take a breath, receive love, like allow the truth that the Lord is with you. Allow that to be true because it is true. Accept His presence, accept that He loves you. And whatever part of you resists that, that's afraid of that, admit it, share it. Say, there's a part of me that just resists this love, Lord. A part of me that just can't bring itself to believing that you care, because if you did care, then why did this happen? Or allow the anger to come out. And at the end of all of it, to still sit before the image of love, whatever that is to you, and still allow yourself to be loved, even amidst the resistance, the anger, whatever it is you're feeling. Because I can tell you right now that no matter what you've experienced in your past, that if I, Tyson Bradley, if I were to sit in front of you, I could love you. I love my brother or sister that I'm just staring at through the screen. I love you because you're human. And I've been around a lot of hurt people. We're all hurt. We're all wounded. I can have compassion for that because I've been wounded. And you can come up with any kind of excuse, but as I sit with people and I ask God what he thinks about them, God has nothing but love to say because he doesn't look upon your behavior. He doesn't look on what you do or don't do. He looks upon your heart. And he's with you. Now, as you take a breath, as you allow some of these words to sit and for you to actually experience them, my invitation is that you just witness, you notice what in the world is coming up. Like as Tyson asks these questions, as he invites me into prayer, as I admit the truth of my experience, what am I noticing? And whatever you're noticing, type it in the comments because that is the key. That is how I would work with you one-to-one is we would notice, we would explore. And if you want to come to a Hearing God challenge or an I Can't Hear God call, then click on one of the links below and we can talk further. You can have more detailed experiences with me where I can help you specifically with whatever you're going through. Okay. All I know is that someone works with me and just prays with me in these very real and tangible ways, specific ways to my challenges. It unlocks doors. I experience a new level of freedom and I'm not the same person anymore. So I just know that you can experience peace. I know that this can work for you. There's literally no one that I've personally met with that hasn't heard from God. So it's possible. There's nothing wrong with you and there's help. Okay. Have a good one and we'll see you in the next video.